They couldn't understand what it meant to rise from the dead. No wonder. None of us can understand it either. It's outside of anything that we as human beings can experience. But they did experience the transfiguration of Jesus. And that's the center of this story, the center of what must hold our attention today. The word transfiguration is connected with the word figure. Figura in Latin and other words means the face. The face of Jesus, first of all, was completely transformed. It was bright as the sun. They couldn't look at him. His clothes completely illuminated. It was a supernatural experience, but there are some examples of the same thing happening in a much less open kind of way. All through the Bible, we find God choosing small people, little children. David was a little boy out in the fields taking care of the sheep. Daniel was a young man who stood up against a terrible tyrannical king. Jesus himself, as a child, went up to the temple with his parents, stayed behind and was talking to the doctors, the teachers in the temple, how much there was of himself to reveal to them. So throughout what we call our sacred history, God chooses people, especially young people, to show that He is with them and that His glory shines out of them. We are all called to have the same thing happen to us. We know that everything that Jesus did, He did for us. At Christmas time we say, Christ is born for us. Through this Lenten season, we're getting ready for the great events of Holy Week, the death of Jesus. And we're certainly accustomed to the idea that He died for us. So in what way is His transfiguration, His showing the glory of God, in what way does that apply to us as well? Whenever someone does something from the depths of the grace within him or her, that's a kind of transfiguration. God is showing Himself within the person, the heart of those who do the right thing in His name. Just think of the events of the past week when young people, teenagers, hardly more than children, all over this country, stood up and said, "We will not participate in the terrible evil of killing people, They stood up, they are standing up, and it's going on, it will continue, saying to people, it is not right for you to take money so that people can be killed. That's a moral stance. It comes from the depth of the heart of good people. Doesn't matter what religion they are, the grace of God is with them. The grace of God is showing itself through them. They are transfigured by the truth, by the justice, by the love of peace and goodness. So God shows Himself not only in the glorious transfiguration of Christ, which foretells the glory that He will have after His resurrection. The glory of God shows itself in the hearts of people everywhere. When they do the right thing, they stand up in the face of evil and say, we will not stand for this. We appeal to God to deliver us from the evil that is being done by men and women who have no conscience, men and women who allow children to be killed. So we have something to think about today in our own lives, in our own hearts. We too are transfigured with Christ whenever we do something that is an act of love. is what these children are doing. Act of love, courageous, filled with grace and light. An American man was recently killed in Iran. We think he may have been executed. And someone said to him, before that happened, "What does it mean to lead a good life?" Our parish project right now is thinking about a good life. What does it mean to lead a good life? And this man said, "Give love. Give love." That's what it means to lead a good life. There are many ways that can happen. But never forget that behind it all, in the person of Christ himself, is the love of God, which transfigures him and which is destined to be our transfiguration as well. Jesus was transfigured, and it is his glorious body that we will receive in Holy Communion a little while from now. Not the dead body of Christ on the cross, but the transfigured, living body of Christ, who showed himself to his disciples and shows himself to us. He is and we are transfigured in him. And for that we celebrate our Eucharist, our great act of thanksgiving to God.